So walking down Beach Road in Pattaya, my question today is it ever too hot to come to Thailand?
What?
And I ask the question because the past few weeks we have had record-breaking temperatures here in Pattaya and elsewhere in Thailand, in Bangkok, in the north. Throughout the country, actually, they've been posting record-breaking temperatures. Not only is the baseline temperature like 35, 36, 37 degrees centigrade, but when you factor in 85% humidity and then what it actually feels like, they're saying on record this is the hottest it's been because it translates to like 54 degrees centigrade. That's what it feels like. And that is, what is it in Fahrenheit? 129 degrees Fahrenheit. Whatever language you speak, that is hot. But I mean, that's one of the main reasons we come here, isn't it? Because we like the weather. If you're like me and you come from the UK, then at the moment, end of April, beginning of May, they're still having nights when it's 4 or 5 degrees centigrade overnight, and it's raining during the day. 4 or 5 degrees centigrade is like, that's just about the same as my fridge, isn't it? And depending on where you might come from in the rest of Europe or perhaps in parts of America, it's kind of like you might be lucky and reach the 20s. But out here, it's very, very hot. Even in Australia, they're coming off the back of their hot period, depending on what part of that vast country you're in. Anyway, 35 degrees might sound like heaven, but when it's coupled with that humidity, it might feel like hell. My question, and I want to know what you think about it, is would that change when you come to this country? Because we've just had Songkran and we're just beginning the low season, so less people come anyway. But normally it's not going to be as hot as this. Yes, it's always going to be the hottest month of the year is April, but this year it's been hotter than ever. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, does it really matter? Well, it can be serious, of course. They had an example in Bangkok, actually just outside Bangkok in Samut Prakan, where there was a traffic cop directing the traffic a couple of weeks ago. And unfortunately, he fell to the heat and he passed away. So it's deadly serious, literally. There was also another story going the rounds, and that was there's a guy living on the street, quite well known actually in Pattaya, and they found him on the street not moving. They didn't know whether he had underlying health problems or heat stroke or a combination of two, but either way, he's no longer with us. How sad is that? It can also be serious for business out here. You imagine that you're doing a business out on the beach. Not many people, if you look behind me, just about see they're on the beach at the moment. Only mad dogs and Englishmen are out walking down the beach at the moment, or the sidewalk, the pavement. And that's just about me that I'm talking about. And therefore, for a lot of businesses, it's a difficult time. Well, not every business, of course. If you go in the shopping centres, in the shopping malls, you'll find lots of people in there, whether they're actually buying anything or whether they're just in there taking in the air conditioning. Well, that's a slightly different question, because there's a lot of people who are just not going outside of their rooms or where they live, or going to the air-conditioned places just as a way of escaping from the heat. We're still lucky in Thailand that electricity charges haven't gone up to quite the levels that they have in many of the Western countries. But they did announce last week that they reach record levels of usage in Bangkok, higher than ever before. So the amount of wattage that was being used was reported by the Electricity Authority as being a record-breaking amount. And why not? Because you need the air conditioning on, you need your fan on, and you also need to be keeping in the shade if you're out and about in this kind of temperature. I mean, I've been here for 13 or more years in Thailand, and I was beginning to get used to the hot season, April and May and around that time. But I have to say that this year, it really has got to me. You're out for 5 minutes, you're sweating like a pig. Exercise, how people exercise coming down the beach where I'm walking now, well, it's going to be too much for me. Unless, of course, you're prepared to get up first thing in the morning or maybe come out last thing at night. And whilst on that topic, the government announced in the last week or so, together with the Tourist Authority of Thailand, that they're actively looking for activities which can be done early in the morning or late at night for tourist areas to give people something to do, because there's very few people out and about during daylight hours. Now, early morning, apart from near me going up to Pattaya Hill and maybe having a quick jog, or in my case it'd be a slow walk, there's not much to do in the morning here. Pattaya in the evening after dark, I think probably people have got some ideas of what to do. And whereas before I might have thought, get to bed early, wake up early, that's the way to be, these people are having an afternoon siesta, or not getting up till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe going out at midnight, coming back after a good night out, 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. They're the sensible ones. I thought I was sensible, but they are the sensible ones, because that's what fits in with this. Oh my goodness. Did you hear that on the microphone? Even if this hot spell is going to be broken, there's a thunderstorm brewing up behind. And the next thing that's going to happen, of course, is the rainy season, which is at least good for some people because it's going to bring some rain. I mean, another side effect of having so many really hot days here is in places like Phuket. It's only a couple of 3 weeks since they were celebrating Songkran, spraying water everywhere. Now they've got water shortages because the amount of dry days, the amount of days without any rain, means they're running out of water. And it's not only in the tourist areas. Farmers in the northeast, they rely on water, of course, for their crops. Not too much sun so that the crops aren't damaged. It's coming up to the main durian season, and apparently there's a danger that those crops are going to be ruined if there's not any more rain coming anytime soon. Imagine that. No durian to smell out all the lifts, refrigerators and corridors. That would be a real tragedy. Is there anything sensible that we could do about it? Well, yeah, the government could take some action perhaps in terms of helping out, particularly for the farmers, the business people who suffer, things like that. Also, they're talking about in the schools maybe cancelling lessons and instructions gone out so that children don't stand out as they often do in primary schools for their morning assembly, things like that. If the sun is too strong, if the temperature is too high, they're talking about that. For people like me, well, I've got the old Factor 50 suntan lotion on, caked all over me. Of course, I always wear my cap, but today you'll see me wearing my light coloured shirt, also shorts, because linen or cotton of a light colour is going to be better for you than what I often wear is like thick black t-shirts, things like that. Well, I think they look okay on an older person, but in this kind of heat, they are not ideal. I seem to be drinking 4, 5, 6 litres of water a day, and I'm still thirsty, so you've got to stay hydrated. And really, don't do what I'm doing now, walking down the street. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's almost the peak of sunshine. A couple of weeks ago, they had no shadows in Bangkok because the position of Thailand compared with the sun is directly overhead, and that's why people feel this hot. In many ways, if you can put up with the heat, or you're prepared just to stay in your room a bit more during the day, like in rainy season, they say it doesn't rain in the loom, it doesn't rain in the room. Well, if you've got good air conditioning, you don't get too hot in the room either. So stay in your room during the day, go out and enjoy the fun in the evening. And it's still a great place to be, even at this time of year.
Yes!
But will it make a difference to you when you come if the climate is really changing, as people are saying that it is? It seems to be getting hotter year on year, not just in Thailand, but they've had record-breaking temperatures. Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, all the other countries around here are reporting the same thing. And it seems like it could be fairly permanent. Does that mean your holiday that you used to take maybe in April or May, you're going to change the time and put it back further in the year where it's going to be a bit more comfortable, hopefully in terms of the climate? Or doesn't it really matter? You're not out here to get a tan, you're out here to have fun, and whatever having fewer people out and about and being a bit quieter might well be to your advantage. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below whether you're as crazy as me and you just go out anyway, or whether you're much more sensible, which you should be, and maybe think about the timing of your next vacation. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. I think it's time for me to put on my shades. Get in the shade, have something cold to drink. I don't know, people say warm drinks are better, but I need a nice cold beer at the moment. And then I'll be ready to think about next week's video. If you like this one, don't forget to subscribe. See you again very soon, but from a very hot Pattaya beach in Thailand, the beginning of May 2024. Bye for now, see you next time, bye bye.